Welcome to MotoMouths, the podcast for MotoGP, motorsports, and more. I'm your host, Zoe. This weekend's been a roller coaster.
I'm your other host, also named Zoe, and I think I slept 15 hours since Friday.
I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I would agree with you, is the thing.
There's so much to talk about.
Yes. I also, by the way, non-zero chance I might cry.
No, I did kind of. I didn't have time after work, but I was planning on getting like maybe some alcohol so I could do like a shot every time you cry, and just see how it goes. But
I did already cry today.
I mean, I did too, but for different reasons, probably.
What a fucking weekend, dude. This is like so unrelated, but to have Pittsburgh Penguin, Marc-Andre Fleury, come back and retire with the Pittsburgh Penguins the same weekend that Marc Marquez secured his 9th title was actually, one, never something I thought was ever going to happen. And two,
yeah,
very emotional, like the whole way.
For those of you who don't know, Zoe and I are very big Pittsburgh Penguins fans. For very different reasons. I'm sure you can understand, as neither of us are from Pittsburgh.
Nor have we ever lived there.
But I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan despite my dad. I don't know about Zoe.
I'm a Penguins fan because I like the vibes.
They have good vibes. They have the cutest mascot. They have the best vibes. I look great in gold.
Also, at this point, it's like, I was watching the game this weekend with one of my friends, and it was really fun to like yell about elder abuse.
Yeah.
They're all ancient now.
They're
like
ancient.
It is really like you're watching
38 to 40-year-old men.
No, they're ancient, and they're just having a grand old time.
Yeah. So all this to say, our weekend started with a lot of tears seeing Marc-Andre Fleury retire a Penguin, and it just kept going from there.
It just kept trucking. So all of that to say, Marc Marquez is our 2025 MotoGP World Champion.
What a surprise. Nobody could have predicted this outcome.
No one. I'm just happy, you guys.
I'm really happy for you.
Honestly, I'm happy for me too.
Yeah.
I did buy myself a gift as a reward.
What did you call it?
No. Okay, so maybe I called it a push present. What then?
It's so fucking funny. Oh,
listen,
my God.
Mark deserves one too. I'm never saying he doesn't.
But the thing is that, like, yeah, Mark won the championship, but also it's one of like 700 things we still need to talk about with regards to the weekend.
Right. So let's start with Mark.
Okay.
The love of my life. No, I do love him. Okay, so I just want to start by something that I found really stressful, but also incredibly sweet in retrospect. Mark has won 8 titles before. He is what you might call an old hat at this. And so everybody was really just kind of like, it's going to happen this weekend. Like, it is written in stone in its own way. And everyone's kind of expecting it to happen. It did, for sure. But the second everyone started getting to Japan, you can see that Mark is not with it in the way that he has kind of been all season. He is honestly looking very strained and stressed. The bike is not sitting under him the way it should. He doesn't really seem like the guy who came out swinging in Qatar. Things don't look as put together as they have all season. And it's really interesting because Mark has this like weird back and forth about intimacy and the way he lets people into his life. He's done many documentaries about himself and then is like, but I'm a super private person.
Right. He likes to switch it up.
And so he has this kind of weird push and pull with it. And people asked him about it. And he was like, I'm just really stressed. Like the pressure is getting to me in a way that it never has before. And people were like, what the fuck? He said, when asked about it, he was saying that, when I was younger, I just won and won and won. And I didn't really think about what I was doing, which is insane when you look back at his career. And now I think the point he was trying to make is that this is the title that means more than every other title he's ever got. There's pressure on this. It's his job and his fans want this. And he's been so dominant all season. The pressure of this title is what he's been working towards for the last 5 years. If he hadn't fucked himself over in a variety of ways 5 years ago, he might have 13 by now. Like, we just don't know. And so there's this pressure of it that he admitted to feeling all weekend. So he kind of is not really vibing most of the sessions. Get to the sprint. Pecco's having a great weekend. Front row is Pecco, Joan Mir.
What's he doing?
And Mark.
Random.
Pedro Acosta's also up there. It's just like such a weird qualifying and all the sessions this weekend. I want to take a bit of a step back and also just say the racing this weekend was kind of ass.
Yeah, it was not all that.
It was like lame.
Like, love the outcome. Love the outcome.
No, I'm happy things happened, but the racing was bad.
No notes on the outcome.
Right. Which, I don't know if we talked about this last week, but Honda built this track to test.
Okay.
So like, it was very much not meant to be exciting. It was meant to like stress a bike.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see.
So there you go. Racing was kind of ass. I think if I'm being honest, the most exciting racing thing that happened the whole weekend was during the sprint, where Mark made what I can only refer to as classic vintage Marc Marquez aggression of a beautiful block pass on Joan Mir, who's very hard to pass, reportedly. I've yet to see it, but that's neither here nor there. Sorry, Joan. That was rude. Classic beautiful block pass on Joan Mir. And what a lot of people are also referring to as behavior that should be penalized. Did you see this?
Not the people saying it should be penalized.
Yeah, people think it's too aggressive. And it's like, well,
grow up.
This isn't the sport for you, then mayhaps.
Yeah.
So Mark looks pretty unseated the whole weekend. He finishes the sprint in P2. Alex is having a uniquely bad weekend for him. So all things look like they're going Mark's direction. Then we get to Sunday. Obviously, this is like the big day. Pecco wins it. We'll talk about him. And then Mark comes in second as well. Joan Mir is in third. The vibes of the podium, kind of sick. Not gonna lie. And then Mark is securing his title. And it's just so, he immediately started screaming.
This scream,
in a way.
You know that Fernando Alonso meme from when he won one of his championships? I don't know which one, but he stands on top of the car and he lets out this like guttural, almost girlish shriek.
I don't think I've seen it.
Okay. Well, it was giving that.
It was
guttural.
It just, there was so much emotion packed because he's immediately sobbing.
Yeah.
And you can hear that too. And it's just this moment where it's like this just relief in a way that I imagine just feels painful.
Like this weight has been lifted off of you, but it's not enjoyable. It's like the air has been stolen out of your lungs.
And then you have to go and talk to the press. Like, could you imagine?
No.
So he goes through the cool down. The thing that I think really got me while watching it live, and I think that will continue to get me any other time I see a video of it, is during the entire cool down lap, Mark is visibly and audibly like sobbing. And every person on the grid is patiently queuing up behind one another as they all go around the cool down lap to just come up and like pat him and like give him a little handshake. And Alex was the first one to reach him that we could see. And it just like, it broke my heart. Because if you watch his documentary, his series All In, there's a scene right after he announces he's going to really take a while off to get his arm reconstructed, which is an insane just sentence. And the only people that he is currently racing with who come by to like say something to him is, I think, Aleix, and I think it was maybe Fabio Quartararo, his teammate. Didn't come and say something to him. None of them came in to say something to him. And it, like in this moment, you can see it really breaks his heart. And to see everyone just kind of take the time and recognize what he's done this year was just a beautiful thing. And I know it doesn't matter, which is kind of the point of this whole like slogan of his championship this year, which is more than a number, because it's more than all of these petty things. It's more than like these memories. It's more than a grudge. It's more than anything that you could really just put on paper. It's this huge, huge, huge moment for him. But it's so cathartic is the word I was looking for. It's got to be painfully cathartic.
Yeah. To me, watching it and just seeing the reaction of people, like seemingly everyone in the paddock, and this spilling out into, like, Yamaha posted a picture of him winning to their Instagram. Everyone did.
Monster Energy.
Yeah.
Who is a brand that has absolutely like no connection to Mark in a good way.
And is irrevocably linked with his arch rival.
Right.
Congratulated him.
Right.
To me, it felt very much like, not to bring it back to Marc-Andre Fleury, but it felt like not just, his game on Saturday, but his farewell tour the whole year, where it's like, we're seeing something great and we want to be a part of it.
The thing that about Mark for it all for me is...
Wait, I just put together that we're crying over two men named Mark with a C.
Okay. Love that you're here. Welcome.
They kind of look alike too.
No, they don't look dissimilar. The thing about Marc Marquez is that I think so much of it is, for me, tied up in the spite. Because I don't think anyone has ever sat down and said, oh, like, Flower is, dangerous to this sport and is actively, like, villainously planning other people's demise.
Which he very well may have been doing.
Honestly, wouldn't be shocked. Fully within his rights. But that's what is so special about this moment, I think, in MotoGP history and just for Mark in general, is that he's come back from truly like hell on earth in his own body. He's come back from a place where his career was falling apart in a way, in a place where the rest of the industry thought he probably was going to be done. And, he should be done.
He came back from the Mayo Clinic,
Minnesota?
Minnesota?
Came back from the fucking Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. Like, that is the depths of despair.
People don't come back from Minnesota. Another thing linking him to Marc-Andre Fleury.
I mean, Flower very much did come back. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah. Well, so did Mark.
I think it's this huge moment. And to me, what I've really enjoyed too about it is seeing how this moment is turning people into Mark fans in a way that feels irrevocable and feels just like it was going to happen anyways. I don't know. Like, the GOAT conversation comes up in every single sport. And I think there's value to it being a nuanced conversation every time. I'm obviously biased, but I don't understand how you can look at his career and not understand that this is the best comeback story of an athlete of all time. If you don't hold that opinion, like, I don't understand what you're seeing.
There is no other option.
I think a lot of people talk about Mick Doohan, who almost lost his leg. And I think there's a very similar thread to Mark and Mick in some of these ways. You look at the length of his career, right? So Mark is now the first person in MotoGP history to win titles separated by 5 years.
That's crazy.
No one else has ever done that.
That's crazy.
The closest is Casey Stoner, and he got 4 years in between his titles. Mark is now the youngest MotoGP champion winner and also the oldest.
That is fucking crazy.
And he's not done.
Right. Like, that's the thing that I think is so chilling about all of it.
He's still here.
Like, when Ovechkin, reached Gretzky's record of goals, it's like, okay, well, we understand that Alexander Ovechkin's career is winding down. It's in the latter phases. And we know that of Mark as well, but it is nowhere on the same level of they're done.
Well, and you look at like elder statesmen in hockey, use your example. You don't necessarily get bad, you get slow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because your body can't do the same thing that it did when you were 19. That's just how it goes. Your experience and your know-how and the muscle memory is still in there. And like, that gets better and better with age. There's a reason why experience is valuable in so many of these sports. But to watch someone have a career of so much time and he is still performing at this level and still dog walking the rest of his peers, some of whom are 20 years old.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's a blessing and a curse of motorsport And I think something that is so unique to motorsport or to sports where you are utilizing an implement. If Fernando Alonso was in the McLaren, Fernando Alonso would be winning the world championship.
He would have already tied it up. I truly
It
believe
would be
that.
done. It would be done. I think that's what makes it so painful to witness Marc in the years that he was struggling, to witness Daniel Ricciardo towards the end of his career, to witness, Fernando Alonso struggling in every bad decision he's ever made, Seb going to slower teams. That's what hurts so much about watching these elder statesmen of motorsport compete. And what's crazy is that this doesn't happen. What Marc is doing,
I would argue it's worse with Marc because, again, I'm biased, but this was expected. He is ancient, but the people who knew, his fans obviously, and then the people in the paddock, all of them knew this was coming. And I think that's where the difference is when we talk about, I love Daniel Ricciardo, love him to pieces. He is not talented on the way that people like Marc Marquez are.
He wasn't generational.
Right. And it's as if you put Max Verstappen in an F4 car and the rest of the grid is in a McLaren. And it's what are we doing? It's such a waste.
It's painful. It's such a waste.
It's such a waste because it could be so different. I do want to talk about more than a number. We've kind of talked about this where Liberty, Dorna, don't really know, don't want to talk about his 9th title. It's his 7th, which is very weird.
Want to reclassify not only his title, but everyone's titles to limit them to the premier class.
Right. Very weird, just whatever. And so they asked him not to celebrate with a 9. Everyone was very interested to see what the celebration was. MotoGP is a history and I think a beloved tradition of being camp and weird.
Baby champ.
Baby champ. Exactly. The Martinator, Pecco with his on-track basketball hoop 2 years ago. It was horrific with his off-brand Chicago Bulls jersey. They just love that shit and I love it for them.
It's so corny.
And so there was a huge upswell online of this is his 9th, this is his 9th. And what ended up happening is Marc went on the cool down lap. They had a screen set up and he watched what was kind of a sizzle reel of his career. And it was announcing the theme of his celebration, which is more than a number. And it was devastating to watch him watch this reel and just hear what honestly kind of felt like an AI voice to me. I'm not gonna lie. Talk about how this title is more than a number. It's more than anything, really. And then there's this voiceover of Marc talking about I'm not racing to prove anything to anyone. I'm racing to prove it to myself. And how this is the thing that he's been working towards for so long. And do I wish it was 9? Yes. But I think that's because this title is about so much more than a number.
As an outsider, as not a diehard Marc fan, Marc lover, but nowhere near on the same level of Marc mania, Marquez as Zoe. But it is absolutely brilliant copywriting and branding.
Well, and here's the funny thing. He didn't know it was coming.
Who on Ducati wrote that copy? Who then? His manager? I want to shake their hand.
Okay, so do you remember 5 months ago or something when this was early this season, we were talking about their fan clubs?
This was the We Are 93 fan club?
Yes.
Who wrote this in the We Are 93 fan club? I want to hire you. I don't know what for.
I mean, it's part of the organization, the people who run the organization, I think in concert with Jose Luis Martinez and the rest of Marc's team. But Marc didn't know what the details were.
It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. That is the kind of marketing that people pay billions for. It is so effortlessly brilliant.
You want to know something funny too? If you look at the t-shirt, they because they all come out in their shirts and their vests and stuff with it.
Well, Marc comes out in what must be a penny from high school PE.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The off-brand
penny?
Chicago Bulls penny.
Yeah. For non-Americans, a penny is a mesh
vest
jersey type thing that you would wear to designate teams in gym class. And they always were horrible.
Yeah, very not breathable, which then you're wearing on top of fireproofs, leathers, and also
And also it should be 6 times bigger.
Yeah, but he needs to be sleek and svelte.
Ready to go. The thing is that it's skin tight for his body, not including the fact that he has a hump on his back.
But if you look at the shirt, it's got like more than a number, and then it's got these kind of like faded abstract elements on it, whatever. Beneath more than a number are 9 stripes.
Okay, Taylor Swift, 5 holes in the fence.
Exactly. And so it's funny because it's like, okay, more than a number, except
A
you very
specific number.
clearly put a number of things. And now the question is like, okay, so when it's 10, is this one a number?
More than another number.
More than that number?
It's more than a number plus 1.
But I think it was good. Everyone part of that celebration, I think, was so lovely. Like, obviously, Alex was the first one to come and pat him on the cool down lap. And then Alex was waiting for him before he got to the screen to like watch the show, the like sizzle reel. And that made me cry. And then, like, obviously his partner Gemma was everywhere, and she like was with Ducati, and his dad was there.
Yeah. Seeing those two together.
They love each other so much. His dad loves his kids so bad. Jose Luis Martinez, like I said, was a huge part of it as well. He was one of the 2 guys who greeted Marc at the screen. The other guy was Javi Ortiz, we've talked about months and months ago. Javi has been with Marc as a mechanic since 2011.
That's crazy.
And I think Jose has been with him since 2015. So they've both been with Marc for a decade plus, which is insane. There's also Carlos, who was the guy that Marc was like reaching through the fence and hugged. Carlos lived with Marc and Alex for about 2.5 years because he was Marc's live-in physiotherapist.
That's
when his arm got fucked up.
The concept of having a live-in physiotherapist.
He was apparently doing anywhere from like 2 to 6 hours of physio every day. That's crazy. I think the Grazzini team like gathered together to kind of congratulate him coming into the pits. Alex, I think, said something where he was like, no, like, Nadia, this is also for you because this is for all of us. Like, you guys brought him back to this and brought this back to him. And it's such like a lovely thing because we talked about like Grazzini loves him so much. And then I think the biggest thing for me was also seeing Santi Hernandez, who is currently John Mears' crew chief at Honda and was Marc's for ages.
Basically his entire career.
Santi and all the Honda guys who were Marc's team were at Parc Ferme.
Yeah.
For Johan, but also got to see Marc. And it's so lovely to see how many people love him and see how that extends outside of the Honda camp, which is, I think, like the least important gift of this whole thing is to see like the impact he has on the paddock. I think it's just an insane thing. He said multiple times, because the press was always like asking him, you know, like, how does it feel? And like, after all these years and like watching yourself in the sizzle reel, Marc was so emotional and cried so much, which we never see from him. And he also so many times had to tell the press, I don't want to talk about what I've been through. I don't want to talk about it. It's like the horrible things that happened and the things that I lived through and had to go through. I don't want to talk about those things. I want to enjoy this moment. Like, I'm at peace right now. And I think it was it's such a crazy thing, because where do you go from there?
He keeps winning.
Well, that's the question. What does he do with the rest of his season?
Before we talk about the rest of the season, MotoGP posted a post that I was just fascinated by. So that it was called More Than a Comeback, and they listed everything he's been through since Thailand 2019, which is 30 missed races.
Oh, and it's a long list.
108 crashes, 2,184 days, 2 diplopia episodes. I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's his eye, right?
Yeah, so this happened twice over the course of his career. It's what happens when your eyes take in whatever you're seeing anywhere from 1 to 3 degrees off. So up close, you don't notice it, but the further something gets away, you're seeing double. And obviously that's really bad when you're going 200 miles an hour on a motorbike.
But wait, there's more.
Oh yeah, of course.
4 right arm surgeries, 1 first metacarpal fracture in his hand, and 1 arm pump surgery. And that's just in the space between Thailand 2019 and now.
Yeah.
Which is
more medical trauma than anyone should ever be put through.
That's bananas, dude.
One of the craziest stories about Marc and like his surgeries is when he went down for, I think, a shoulder reconstruction, something to do with the arm, and they put him under. His shoulder just popped out. because he'd have to keep his muscles tense to keep his shoulder in the socket. And so when he was under, it just popped right out.
Not to say that this was anywhere near Marc Marquez's situation, but something very similar happened with my ankle when I had ankle surgery.
Yeah. Like, the human body is nuts.
Ew.
And he's fucking crazy. I feel like I sound more reserved than I expected because it's such a joy in a way that is incredibly sad. And I feel very lucky. I've talked about this. I feel like in my life when I watch sports, I always get in on the latter end of things. Like, I always get in right when the going's good and it's on the downswing. I feel like I never have gotten in my life really to like get into a sport in a meaningful way. And the team or the person I'm following is like at the height of things. I think Max is like the only example where that maybe isn't happening. And so to have him be old, to have him be so incredibly talented still, it's such a joy, like I said, but it's also just devastating to see like how important this is. And just how sad I think it can also be.
Yeah, the cost.
Exactly. Like the thing that you put so much energy and time and like love into. And it doesn't always work like this. But it did this time. It's a weird moment to be in. And so I can't imagine like as Marc being in that moment too. It's got to be insane. Alex said to the press that everyone who like isn't him and Marc only knows 10% of what he gave up and what he worked for to get back to this.
He went to Minnesota.
What is the other 90% if Minnesota is the 10?
Literally.
So it's, I don't know. I really want to see him stone on those hoes for the rest of the year. Like he's been doing that. I want to see him go balls to the wall, win it or bin it. I want to see him have the most fun in the world.
Yeah. Without injuring himself.
Like he can have like a tweaked metacarpal as a treat. Like he would love that shit.
He loves to point to a little injury.
Yeah, give him like stitches on like the outside of his hand. I don't fucking know.
A little chin scratch.
Again,
boo-boo.
with the pebble right there. Just like that's my guy.
Your guy won.
He did that. And he did that on a weekend where he did not feel great. Like that's the other thing. We always talk about Marc on a bad weekend is P2.
Yeah.
Other people on a bad weekend are P14.
Yeah.
And some people on a bad weekend break their collarbones again.
That's what I was wanting to talk about this whole time.
Some people on a bad weekend injure themselves and their bones again.
Not to talk about Jorge Martin for 2 minutes at the middle of the pod, but buddy.
So, and here's one other thing I did want to mention. So the number one is Curse, right?
Right.
Marc has already said he's not running it.
Of course not.
Like, you really thought.
This weekend cemented that shit.
Like, we already knew.
But.
Right.
Here's my thing.
Tell me.
Jorge, we told you to take the rest of the season off.
You know who else told him?
Everyone.
Marc. Maybe not to take the whole season off, but Marc many times was like, don't fucking come back before you're ready. Don't do it.
Jorge.
Well, and
back to the fish pod.
The thing about this weekend is like, it wasn't even tragic. He just was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
He just was kind of stupid. And he like fucked up Bez's Saturday too. And Bez, to his credit, was like, listen, it happens.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not injured badly, except he did say the muscles on his legs were filled with blood. So I don't. Yeah.
I sure hope they are.
I don't know.
His leg go jack jack?
His leg go jack jack. Yeah. And he was like, listen, Jorge apologized. He didn't really need to apologize. Things happen. My season isn't over. It's fine. Which is very mature of him. So I'm proud. But Jorge was just being kind of dumb. And I was talking to someone about this and they were like, he's still scared. I think he's still scared.
Yeah.
I don't know of what, but I think he is.
I think he thinks the bike he is riding is cursed. And we all know that to be true. But you can't think that way.
Honestly, like, looking back, I really wish he'd just committed and left Aprilia.
I agree.
I really wish he'd just committed. And I don't know if that makes me a hypocrite,
But isn't this like literally since day fucking one of this podcast, it has been about Jorge and his inability to commit. He couldn't commit to 1 or 89. He couldn't commit to Aprilia. Okay, commitment phobe king.
Actually, the thing is, he committed to Aprilia very quickly because it was a decision based in anger. Because he found out that Ducati was going to pick Marc and within 36 hours had signed a contract with Aprilia.
Crazy.
So I think it's more that he can't make a decision without this like driving force behind him.
Yeah.
And then he broke his collarbone. Like he just needs to not race for the rest of the year. Like, unfortunately, I think that's the thing to do. Or you just need to not be competitive this year if you do come back.
Training wheels.
Exactly. Pecco.
Okay. This man has been miserable for so long.
Right.
He has been to the depths of despair.
I don't know that far, but he's been sad.
He's been sad. He's been down. I think it is so fucking funny that the weekend that we're back, baby, with Pecco, is a weekend where he is totally overshadowed by Marc Marquez.
Pecco overshadowed, yeah.
Pecco overshadowed.
Here's the thing. I actually am so glad we're talking about this because I have a lot to say, per usual.
Shocker.
One, we've talked about this a lot this year where you've never actually seen Pecco race.
Yes.
And one thing about this weekend, aside from getting everything I've ever wanted and Marc winning the title, is that it almost entirely proves my point about Pecco being really fucking good when all of his ducks are in a row. And the second one duck is out of line, he falls apart. Which is to say, we're 90% sure they just gave him the GP24 with a different engine. Ducati will never say so. Ducati has not said anything.
It wasn't Casey Stoner's pep talk?
I mean, listen, Casey definitely had an impact. But it sounds like, and Pecco has said this multiple times, it sounds like one of the guys within Ducati who's like a driver coach or something has been saying what Pecco's been saying the whole year. And Casey Stoner was like, fucking listen to these guys. And then for some reason, they gave Pecco the GP24. There is a rumor circulating. Some journalists don't believe it. Some journalists are like, I don't believe it. That they took one of Frankie's bikes because Frankie has the GP24. So he has two. And they like put new livery on it and gave it to Pecco and kind of retrofit the GP25 engine. I don't know how true that is, but I think the point remains they fucking gave him the GP24 and now he's like cartwheeling all over Japan.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I'm happy that Pecco is like finding his joy again. Good for him.
Off Suicide Watch.
Love that. That is a win. Do I think it's deeply hysterical that he is finding his spark the moment that Marc wins the championship? Also, yes.
Of course, you got Pecco's new groove the minute it is of absolutely zero consequence.
Which is the most Pecco thing ever. Like, narratively makes sense for him. Here's the other thing. He did get to use his big, beautiful brake disc this weekend.
I forgot about the big, beautiful brake disc.
Because Motegi is such a heavy, like, braking track. So we got to use that, too. So I am honestly reserving joy.
How was his sprint fuel tank?
Apparently great. I don't know. Right. I love his like weird picky things.
He's like a kid that can't have his chicken nuggets and mac and cheese touch.
No, okay, listen. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, I've struck a chord. I've hit a nerve.
There's nothing wrong with that. He is more the princess and the pea than anything else.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair.
So I will be watching in Indonesia this weekend very closely.
I want somebody to have a little low side and we'll see if beneath the livery there's some piss yellow. Like when you pull posters off.
You're so right. You're so right. I need a
telephone pole.
Slow low side into the gravel, and I will be watching. You know?
Yeah, because we'll see it.
You could not fucking miss that shit.
Then he comes out. He's like, "No,
I just deaf.
I just pissed on it while I was crashing. That's what it was."
Don't worry, you guys. I'm on this really crazy new medication. It's called Zoloft.
It's called vitamin B12.
You can be blind, deaf, and dumb and see that fluoro yellow. It's so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
You don't even need a crash. Just like have the wind blow it ever so slightly and like a little peel comes up.
Or like put it in direct sunlight.
Yeah, exactly. Hold it up. Hold it up to the light.
Yeah, hold it up to the light, tilt it. Can you see the face of a president in it? Joan Mir.
He's there.
Forgot about him.
Much like the other Johan.
Truly. Two peas in a pod. You can make the argument that this is like part of the hometown vibe, you know?
Oh,
like
yeah.
it is a home race for Honda.
Yeah.
So there you go. We should have assumed. I mean, we never would have, but
I would have said Johan Zarco.
I would have said Luca Marini because I wish that would have happened. That would have been lovely for me personally. I do want to say one last thing about Pecco, actually. Pecco had a lot to say after the race. The funny thing is, after the race, like Mark is going on his hero's journey to celebrate his 5-year-long quest for this title. Pecco and Joan Mir are just like wandering around Park Ferme. Like they're in the cool down room for like 20 minutes. Mark is sobbing and being tenderly passed around by like everyone who cares about him in the paddock. And Pecco and Joan Mir are just kind of like shooting the shit.
They're standing there at a party, like red Solo cup in hand, just been like,
watched the game the other day.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Gas prices are crazy, man.
Yeah, so high. And so Pecco was running his mouth, I think, as he's allowed to do, because he's, come back into form a little bit, supposedly, maybe. And he opens every single interview saying, I don't want to take the spotlight away from Mark.
Which is what people say when they want to take the spotlight away from someone.
Right. And then he goes, but this is a great weekend for me, which it is. And then he starts talking about how he's still angry. Like, it's a great weekend, but he's angry. And I think that's fine. Like, sure, yes. We love intuitively understanding your body's emotional response. And then he goes on to make a comment. The day that Mark has secured the championship, he says, well, no one's really fought him this whole season. He hasn't really had a competitor this whole championship.
Yeah, buddy, that was supposed to be you.
And who actually was it? Alex Marquez on a year-old bike.
And whose fault is that, Pecco?
And whose fault is that? You know what they say about glass houses and stones?
Don't be naked in them.
Yeah. It just low-key really pissed me off. I'll say it.
Listen, you know how I feel about Pecco, but that whole shtick is very Lando Norris coded.
Oh my God, you're so right. It's so tired.
Yeah.
It's so tired. Oh my God. I feel like you're just rewiring my brain a little bit.
Are you waking up now to the Pecco Lando truth that I've been trying to say all season?
Here's the problem. I do believe Pecco is actually way more talented than Lando, but they do operate so similarly. Holy shit.
Thank you.
Wow. I need to go sit with this. Holy shit. Okay, moving on.
I've been saying. Is all I'm saying.
You have. I'm so tired, dude. Like, this weekend just ate me up.
This weekend drained me.
Emotionally, physically. And then I went to an antique fair for 6 hours and bought one thing. Let's talk the great wide world of motorsport.
Okay. I think the biggest news is that Roscoe Hamilton has passed away. And this is devastating.
It's really sad.
I cried. I might cry again.
It was really sad.
Just to see the outpouring of love that this dog gets. This is Roscoe is bigger than F1. Roscoe is beloved beyond F1. It's crazy to me.
When you watch motorsport, especially when you get big, they all hire their friends to essentially work with them because it's lonely. Not to be oh, well, sad rich boys, but it is a very lonely industry. And I think Lewis obviously loved that dog so fucking much. And it's really gutting. It sucks to be in that position.
And the photos he posted, baby Roscoe. Baby
Very
Roscoe
cute.
was so wrinkly. Truly the biggest tragedy of our world is that dogs don't live forever.
Yeah.
So very sad. The thing, here's the thing that really pisses me off is that he is going to be in Singapore this weekend. And it's all they're going to ask him about, and that just makes me so angry.
I think the grid has a serious problem of not recognizing people are people. Franco Colapinto, when his grandfather died, the press was constantly asking about him. It's the larger issue of we don't see these people as people. They're all going through shit all the time.
Sad. Max Verstappen raced at the Nürburgring again, and this time he won.
Yeah, it sounds like him. This was crazy.
This was his first official race in the GT3 category. GT3 Ferrari took the lead into lap 1 and didn't let it go.
Yeah, which Fucking sounds like him.
We talk a lot about how there should be so much respect on other classes of motorsport and other disciplines of motorsport because it is so hard to transition between them. Like each has its own unique challenges. How fucking crazy do you have to be? How crazy talented to just get in a car and do that?
Well, I think he's the only one to have ever done it. I think he's the only driver who has won an F1 race and then within 7 days has won a race in a different category.
Like, what the fuck? That's insane.
I think other people have done it before years and years ago, or I think they went from like something to F1, but no one's ever done an F1 to something totally different within a week.
It's crazy.
In his first race. But I think that is the part that you can't really understate is that he also won by a couple of seconds, I think.
And his teammate is not a driver. His teammate was Chris Willem.
He's a sim racer.
He's a sim racer. He's just his buddy sim racer. The kid who the Gran Turismo sim racer turned race car driver movie was about also raced in this weekend.
That's what I was going to bring up is that I think this is Max's point, which is there's a lot that goes into racing, which is physical. And you can't ignore that. You just physically can't. But I think his point is that they're not two different sports. You need to be able to work the muscles in racing that you work in sim racing. And I think it's really interesting that is like the niche he seems to kind of be going into of like being a vehicle, pun not intended, for people to get into racing professionally in a way that is not the like normal way to do it. I think that's very cool. But yeah, I saw the Gran Turismo guy and this is like part of a larger thing too, is like they were all just jazzed for him to be there.
So excited.
And it was his comeback, I think, that guy. Like, I think he'd been away for a couple of years.
Oh my God.
And he was like interviewed and he was like, yeah, like it's fucking crazy. And like, this is so cool that I'm back. And I think he was on the podium. His team was.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm on the podium with Max Verstappen, who is one of the greatest drivers of all time. And I was like, holy shit, dude, I agree.
Yeah. I'm so glad we're all on the same page.
Champagne was so funny though.
Yeah, it was.
How he couldn't open it?
Yeah.
And they all made fun of him because apparently in F1, they give them the champagne.
They open the champagne for them. Yes.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
It does speak to a bit of the princess
manufactured
never
pomp and circumstance.
Yeah. Elitism of the sport. Like, open the fucking thing yourself.
Well, Max was standing there and he couldn't fucking do it.
I know. It was really funny.
That's like, dude.
I would have just smashed it.
No, you wouldn't have, because that's what Lando does.
No, I mean, I would have like done like a boat.
What?
Like christening a boat. I would have like smashed it.
On what? In St. Glass and everybody?
Yeah.
There were like 30 people up there.
All right. Ruin my fun, why don't you?
Yeah, I just don't want glass shards hitting people.
We need to make our prediction for
Crazy.
Singapore. Do you need to remember what happened last year at Singapore?
Remind me.
Okay. I don't want to. Lando won. Max came second and Oscar came third. Pole position was Lando Norris. Fastest lap was Daniel Ricciardo, who currently has the lap record at the Singapore Grand Prix. And now they no longer do fastest lap as a thing.
May he rest in peace. Based on Max's performance so far, I think I am going to go with Max P1. I don't know. Charles Leclerc P2. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
And then Oscar Piastri P3. I don't know. I feel like I'm tying myself in circles to like make a prediction that doesn't allow Oscar to maintain the championship lead.
Fail King?
Fail King, Lando Norris.
Great. I'm going to say Carlos Sainz P1.
I was thinking about that.
This guy really likes Singapore.
Yeah, he's won here before.
And more so than he really likes Singapore, everyone else is kind of dog shit at Singapore.
Yeah, because it sucks.
The Red Bull specifically is not good at Singapore. It wasn't in 2023. It wasn't in 2024. I'm going to say Carlos Sainz P1, Max Verstappen P2, Oscar Piastri P3, Fail King, Fernando Alonso.
Can I actually change one of my podium positions?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to put George Russell P2. So Max P1, George P2. I think I had Oscar P3. Yeah, I'm sticking with that.
Okay. That's interesting. I can see that.
He's been like weirdly Mr. Consistent this whole season, even with COVID.
Okay, that brings us to the grid as ... which for the uninitiated is a moment in our podcast where we categorize a handful of riders and drivers from across the great wide world of motorsports as a person, place, thing, idea, concept, theme, and in honor of Marc Marquez's title celebration, we are going to do the grid as past Marquez title themes. Would you like to go first?
I would. So I think John Mir is number 8 because he did like an 8 ball. And John Mir is cursed, like we've discussed. And so, like, truly, I believe he should not move through the world without consulting like a Ouija board or a magic 8 ball.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think that makes sense. I would like to say also that this is like funnier in a mean way. Pedro Acosta is the baby champ theme because everyone was calling him the next Marquez and he's not, but it's fine. You guys were just both young and talented. Honorable mention, Max Verstappen is level 7 because it's a video game and Max Verstappen is famously in his off time
era
a Twitch streamer.
Yeah. Okay. I'm also going to say Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is Marc Marquez's 2014 celebration, which was 3+1. I don't know if you noticed, but this weekend, his number was number 31.
I didn't notice that. That's fun.
Famously, Max's favorite number is 3, which he can't use because that's Daniel's number. So he went with 33, and now he's number 1. So I don't know if it was intentional, but I think it was very nice.
It probably was.
It probably
Max loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm also going to say baby champ. My baby champ is Isaac Hadjar, whose 21st birthday is today.
Baby.
Or he's number 6, which is rolling the dice because he can now gamble legally in the United States.
There you go. Casinos everywhere. Watch out.
That brings us to the end of the podcast. Make sure to like, share, rate, comment, review, engage with in any way, shape, or form on the episode. It helps us grow. We really appreciate it. Come hang out with us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads. We have a great time. So much fun. And yeah, let's keep chatting soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.